All right, so now we're going to do what should be the hard part, but is actually the easiest part of this whole thing, which is wire this up to Drupal. So if you get the Web Components module and you enable the one-page app module, you're a big part of the way there. So you'll see I just have this little site, and you can see some of my other one-page apps that I already have in before we get the comments one in. So I've got this gallery one. This is a one-page app that I developed in the same way as the other ones. And then we did this last step here that we're going to wire in. So in the last video, we went and we did this two-way data binding, and we showed how, hey, we can pull from a JSON source. Cool. Well, let's wire this into Drupal then. So I already have this in a location that's in scope of Drupal at the moment. So the important things that I need to add, though, are I need to modify this manifest file. And so what I want to add to the manifest file that comes with my app is we look at another one that we already made is I add these Drupal properties in. Now if I add menu, that's going to put it in the menu system. If I add data, it's going to create a data callback. And then you can add, whatever contextual ones you want. But there's a new one in here as well now that's for block. So we can actually turn this into a block very easily as well. And so I'm going to copy this, and we're also going to add a title to our manifest here. So this again, just big JSON file. Take that Drupal object. I don't need module, that's not required. If I want a menu item, this will put a menu item down. Then callback is the name of a function to run. And so just for consistency's sake, I like to call this basically name it the name of the element. And then the word data, pretty much. You don't have to, but that's just what I like doing. Then you see there's this property, and that's the property that we're going to use for wiring up the data. Now if we look at the index, we saw that was data source. And so then in here, instead of source path, we put data source. We don't need this context information. That's just kind of, you can put whatever you want in there if you're making advanced integrations. So, and then our title is going to be comments. Okay. Now the one other aspect of this, and this starts to get into kind of some things that are a little bit unrefined in the integration side, is I've already made a build file. So I've done a whole build process that basically takes all of these resources and smashes them together. You don't have to do that, but resolving potentially hundreds of imports on the fly is incredibly painfully slow in Firefox and Safari via the polyfill. So what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of assume that a lot of this stuff is here because I already know that it is in my setup. So I'm going to put this up on my server. Again, as far as file location, the app, all the app development has been in this one space, and it's it just needs to be in a folder called apps, either off of a module, or if I was to put this in, this is the equivalent of a libraries directory in Drupal, and if I would put this app in Web Components Polymer apps and put it there, it would be in scope so it could show up everywhere. You can see I have another one from another location. So I'm going to go into comments here, and again, we're going to assume that that stuff is there for the purposes of this, except Drupal comment, which is new. So I'm going to have that one be imported. So we're going to upload that, and then we're going to upload these files here, as far as manifest and things. And we're going to go to the site, and we're going to clear caches. And we're going to see I got a new link on the interface called comments. And now when I go to comments, you'll see that it wants to run a function. It says, hey, I wanted to hit this function, but I couldn't find it. So either we put that function in a module somewhere, or using the new autoloader capability, we just make a file in this element here. So the name of this is going to be the name of the element, elmsln-cle-comments.php. In there, we're going to put our one function. As far as what that one function gets passed to it, if you want to see from our upload example, which pioneered this, you see we can take in machine name, a route, and the parameters. And the thing we need to send back is effectively the status and return. So I'm going to put in status, return, and we're going to put in here our machine name, app route, and parameters, callback for getting comment data out of Drupal. All right. And now I already wrote this on the side, but at this point, Drupal's bootstrapping, you can do whatever you want. So let's put that up there just to see that it actually does resolve the error. Okay, and you see there's nothing, right? There's these 4 little blanks, and you go, what the heck happened? Well, if we inspect, go to network, and we refresh, we'll see it made an XHR, and it did the CSRF token validation thing. So this is protected against cross-site scripting automatically. At this location, it loaded it into the element. If we look at the element itself, you can see there's CLE comments, and it added in that whole path automatically. So there really wasn't any Drupal integration. I know what this argument 3 thing is complaining about. Take that out for now. That's something I haven't added just yet. So we've got our machine name and app out, which machine name in this case is going to be elmsln CLE comments, and app route is going to be apps/elmsln CLE comments /data. The reason these 2 are passed to you is just for some context. The params part that's going to be added in is going to give you the get data if there's any information passed along to it via the URL. So what I could do at this point is I already wrote this little entity field query example, so I'm paste that in. And so what this says, if you're not familiar with EFQs in Drupal, hey, ask Drupal for all of its comments that are published, ordered by descending order of changed information, and give me the first 10. And then run it, then make sure that you actually got something, which would be nice. Okay, and then I'm going to take the CID, I'm going to actually load the whole comment off of the CID. So we should have the whole comment be returned in that result set. So let's put that in. Instead of comments, let's make this return, and then let's make comments be returned just for consistency. We need to return a status code with this as well. So if we found anything, we're going to do status equals 200, and otherwise we're going to do 403, 404. So 404 being our default in this case, that it didn't find any data. Let's put that up. Okay. Now we're going to inspect. See, our error went away, but also our stuff that got printed. We're going to go to network, refresh. We'll look, we'll see we actually got a 500 error instead, because I apparently can't write EFQs correctly. Unknown column node type. Let's take out bundle. There's no bundle when it comes to comments. Refresh. See, we got a 404. Okay. So from here, we can start to kind of go do a little digging, write some more traditional Drupal debugging. I'm going to say print or return that as results, and see that no data came back from result because we're not setting result. Duh. So then we need to do result equals query execute, and then we'll see what comes in there. All right, we've got 4 elements again, and now we can look at comment here. We've got data, comment. Ooh, we're starting to get comments loading. And then instead of return or resolve, we need return, obviously. So that'll remove a layer of abstraction from there. Okay, let's look at what our return data is. Getting closer, right? There's comment body. And so let's take comment body safe value here, right? Copy property path. And instead of that, we're going to do temp, and we're going to do comments, and then comment or TMP CID, because it would have loaded that comment, equals, and now we're going to match our JSON from before. So title is going to equal whatever the title is, if we even have one. I don't even know if there's a title on these stupid things. Oh, subject in this case. So TMP subject, okay, and then body equals, you see it's this big old blob here, but it should be like that. Okay, comment 0 safe value for body, and then we need to engineer a URL off of this. So we can look through and don't actually see a URL in there, so we'll have to generate a view URL or see how those are formed from normal ones. I haven't actually made a comment view one before to know. Oh, there we go. It's just like that. Okay. So like comment 6 or what have you. So we can go back to that display and we can say view, and then it's going to be that. We probably want base path in there, right? So base path / comment, and then in this case we're going to do TMP CID because that's the common ID, and then we'll put it there as well. Okay, so now we've got body, title, and view right there. Now we push this up. Oh, we need to return comments instead of that. Okay, comments, because I changed the name, and then this should just be comment. Right? It's a little more readable. TMP. Okay, all right. Now push that up. All right, getting a little bit closer there. So now we can see that all that information is in there, but it should be looking for data, or .data in this case. So I need to make a small tweak to my element, because my element assumed it was just in the high level response. The element needs to actually look in data. So post that up. And now we have comments, comment cards rendered that came from data from Drupal. You see we've got our little hover state, and now I can click and jump right to the comment in question. So that pretty much is your end-to-end of the workflow that we've been engaged in as far as these. It's, you know, if I wasn't talking through this would take even less time, but it's a little ridiculous how clean the workflow really is, and how it really separates the concerns nicely. So I hope this was helpful in understanding why we keep freaking out about this process.